My dreams come true.
Well, welcome everybody. I'm Bethany.
And I'm Crystal.
And you're listening to the Bomb
Decom.
Decom. And yes. And today we're talking about the 1997 movie,
The original.
Under Wraps.
Under Wraps.
The original, which is not on Disney Plus.
Yeah. None of the premieres that we've searched up or that we've been doing so far have been on Disney Plus. I don't think.
And it makes sense to me with the premieres, because the premiere films are kind of like their own thing.
Right, but this is
a decom, baby.
Yeah, you're right.
It's the first decom, and I think it's because they remade it. But I'm like, that's so shady.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Like in with the old, out with the, or in with the new, out with the old. We're just gonna remove this from our catalog.
Yeah, and I'm like kind of excited and scared to watch the reboot.
The new one. Yeah. And there's a sequel. So
yes, which like,
I'm like
I kind of hate that because it ends so perfectly.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what, I don't know what's next in the sequel, but we gonna find out. We gonna find out.
Wait,
did we decide that we're gonna watch them in sequence? Like we're gonna watch.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
So up next is the reboot, and then after that is Under Wraps too. So, but I mean, we're gonna do initial thoughts now, but I will just jump off since we're kind of on topic. Where I think this is a perfect decom.
This is it.
I hate that they remade it because I cannot imagine that they've in any way improved upon it.
I don't think so. They really couldn't. It was the perfect amount of cheesy, just like innocent child like shenanigans. You know, I mean, albeit in a creepy setting. It was a Halloween movie, but yeah, I just feel like this is probably what it would have been like if I had also found and accidentally reanimated a 3,000-year-old mummy with my friends. So
nah, those kids are way too chill, way too soon. I'm sorry, no.
He was friendly. What do you mean? He was friendly.
They did a good job of making him immediately endearing. I will give you that, but I don't know. If I'm being realistic, I don't know that I could have gotten past my feelings.
I think I would have been like, oh, he's nice. Let's keep him. And I could see you being like, no, we're not doing that.
I mean, okay, so like if I were Bruce, the grown-up that they bring into it, and the kids have already kind of vetted him, like he's a good guy, I'd get on board. But like initial meeting, you're like 6'5", you're coming at me in a way that I now know isn't scary, but it has scared me.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you stink real bad. I'm struggling.
I want to know what that mummy smell is like. I mean, just like a whiff. I don't want to like, I'm just really a little curious. Yeah.
Yeah. I went to this drag show. They really do. I went to this drag show on Saturday and it smelled really bad in there. And I kind of picture it like that.
Oh no.
And that smell I will describe as like a high school locker room smell.
Oh, that's not what I want when I'm enjoying a drag show.
Yeah. And the drag, I don't want to get too off topic, but the drag show in concept is really cool, but the production value, I say this is like a theater nerd, the production value was real shit. But also Silas said that, and he's not a theater nerd. So,
okay.
And
so
he was like,
really real shit.
Yes, and he was like, it was so cool in concept. I really wish that we could get a drag show that had high production value and like had like really good funding. And I'm like, that would be really fucking cool. So
that would be
But anyway, it was in this stinky theater that smelled like locker room, high school locker room.
He probably does smell like that. Our mummy friend. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it. I want to point out really quickly that one of the main friends in the friend group, Amy, I didn't realize this was the same girl from True Confessions, Clara Bryant. Yeah. She is Shia LaBeouf's older sister in True Confessions, which such a good. I can't wait for us to get to that one because that one is so good. Oh my god!
You said it's so what?
So good.
Oh, I hate True Confessions. I think it's a dumpster fire of a film.
Oh my
I really
god.
do. I really
True
do. I like
touched my heart. I feel like I remember it so vividly. It really
No, that
me.
movie was honestly traumatic. It was a traumatic watch for me.
Really?
Yeah, no, I think I was also just like not I think I was. I definitely was too sensitive of a child, which is ironic because I'm not a particularly sensitive adult. And that movie just made me so sad. And it really upset me. Yeah. The idea, and I mean, I went to a Catholic school most of my life, so there wasn't really any special ed program. Therefore, I didn't really get to interact with many people that would be considered in that or labeled that way. I'm sorry, I keep hearing my like dog crying.
Oh my god, you have 2 children now.
Yeah. Like, what's going on with that?
Do you need to go check it out? Please do. Oh, I see some movement back there. What's that? That's your new baby right there.
Oh yeah, that's Faye. She's playing with some article of clothing. Anyway, she's fine.
Oh my god.
So I think it just like the idea that those kids were so mean to him. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but it like to me at the time was unfathomable that some kids would treat this person this way, and it like broke my heart.
Yeah. I mean, it did break my heart too, but what sticks out to me most is just how she stuck up for him. But that wasn't realistic at all to my, public school experience. I feel like anyone who had any sort of, learning disabilities, I'm not even sure how to really classify the special ed class, but anyone who was in that class, like it was no big deal. Like they were just another student. Like nobody was like picking on them particularly or saying anything to or about them. They were just another part of the school, another part of our student body. So
yeah, that's what I would hope for. But this movie made it. I mean, I just remember that scene where they all spit in his hat.
Yeah, and put it on his
and
head.
it sticks with me. Yes,
yeah.
And I also just thought Shia LaBeouf was such a weird choice for that role. I did not like that.
Actually, yeah. When I think back on it now, I feel like, there are other actors who actually relate to this and could have played that role and not Shia. But at the time, I was all in it, baby. I was emotionally my heart was in that movie. They reached into my chest and grabbed it and never let go because I still love it.
I'm happy to hear that. I was literally talking to Stephanie the other day about this movie, and I was saying how much I hated it, and she's like, "Yeah, me too."
Damn.
But I'm glad someone did like it, and I don't know I haven't asked many people about it, so a lot of people might like it. We might be the minority for sure. But I don't know. Shia LaBeouf was such a comedic actor at that time, and I understand he might have been trying to like enter the dramatic world, but it's kind of like Ashton Kutcher did that movie, The Butterfly Effect, and it flopped because like people did not want to see Ashton Kutcher in a serious role.
Yeah, I feel that.
And I felt that way about Shia LaBeouf. Like when I saw the trailer at first, I was like, is this like some fucked up joke? Because I just couldn't place him in this dramatic role. And then as I watched the trailer, I'm like, no, this is like legitimate, but I just like couldn't get past it.
I feel that. I mean, Lewis on Even Stevens is like the epitome of slapstick, wild antics. So
yeah.
But I don't know. I fell right into it. I was all about it.
I hear you. Well, today we're talking about Under Wraps, which we both agree is a great movie. So
yes, excellent movie.
Kick it off.
All right. I do want to just put out this trigger warning that there are spiders in the opening credits. I think they're plastic spiders, to be honest. I might just be being dramatic, but it was a jump scare for me. It freaked me out. I'm highly arachnophobic, so just in case anyone else is, be prepared for that. But anyway.
I literally, if you'd asked me if there were spiders at all any point in this movie, I would have 100% guaranteed no. I did not notice them at the beginning at all. Like, that's how little note I took of them.
I would love to be in that mindset. I don't like how much spiders bother me, but there were at least 6 or 7 spiders crawling around in the opening credits. It troubled me. Every time one showed up, I was like, oh
no.
Oh, feels gross. But it's fine. I got over it quickly. It's cool.
Yeah, and there's not a lot throughout the movie, at least from what I remember.
Yeah, I don't think there's any more. It's just the opening for some reason. I guess because it's spooky, but... So, we open up on a couple of friends, Marshall and Gilbert. They're at the movies. They're watching a horror movie. And we quickly learn that Gilbert is the scared friend. He's a big scaredy cat. He also mentions as they're leaving the theater that he likes Nazi movies. I don't really know
Well,
why.
he doesn't say he likes Nazi movies. He says he likes The Sound of Music, which is a famous musical that has Nazis, but it's like against Nazis. It's not.
Yeah.
He just mentions it
you know
has
what?
everything. He's like, it has music, it has dancing, it has Nazis. Well, the Nazis don't sing and dance, but it'd be cool if they did, which I did think was a weird comment. But just to be clear, he's not like out here just like, I love Nazi movies.
Looking for Nazi movies. Facts. He did say it like that. And I'm like, why is that on the list of one of the reasons why he likes this movie, though? Like, I mean, it has Nazis, but why?
The Nazis are the villains, so within context, I mean, at least he's on the right side of history, but it is weird that it is a standout point for him, for sure.
I just made like a little side note of that because I was like, what's going on with you, Gilbert? What's happening? But okay, I'll give my little boy a pass.
I love Gilbert.
Me too. Yeah. I love him.
And I love that he loves musicals,
so adorable.
Even though he lists Nazis. It's one of the reasons.
Very strange reason, but yeah, I do love another musical lover, so he gets a pass. They're leaving the theater, and while they're walking home, they're talking about a very creepy neighbor called Mr. Kubat, who lives in this super creepy house that we see them walk past, and it looks haunted as hell. Like, it looks like I would never want to go in that house. And Gilbert says that he's Mr. Kubat's paperboy and that Mr. Kubat has not paid him in 2 years. So his friend Marshall that he just went to the movies with was like, hell no, let's go collect. So he knocks on his door.
Also, like, sorry, just
Marshall
wild
is
note.
wild.
He really is. Cause I'm like, yes, you need to collect, but like, be like, hey, Gilbert, let's tomorrow morning go get this money. What time is it?
At night, in the darkness, after
Some
we
little
just watched a scary movie?
Show up at my house at night trying to collect.
For 2 years of the paper? Absolutely crazy.
Get out.
I mean, as such, Mr. Kubat does answer, and he looks menacing. Like, and
he has like a floodlight. He's like a floodlight facing these children where they're like blinded.
They're literally they're like, Mr. Kubat? And it's just like, bruh, y'all need to run. Y'all need to go.
Oh, Mr. Kubat, he's wild.
But yeah, he has this like ferocious dog, and he basically chases them off his property with it. Kind of wild, yeah. But that kind of like lays the foundation for Mr. Kubat and his persona. He is the creepy old man, the old neighbor in a weird creepy house. And then we go to Marshall's house, and I just wanted to mention that Marshall's mom is dating someone, and he very clearly has an issue with the guy that she's dating. Like, we just see that next.
Ted!
And, Ted. Oh, that's right, yes. Ted.
And he's played by the same guy who plays the Mummy, Harold.
No way.
Yes. And it's actually very interesting because I noticed in this watch that they often reference Ted in reference to Harold.
Oh, right.
Amy's like, did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I say, like, Amy's like, did you tell any? Oh, sorry. Just go ahead.
Marshall was just like, when they were talking about keeping Harold at his place, he's like, oh yeah, I mean, Ted's there and he's already a big guy stomping around or something. He says something like that. And
exactly, yeah. He's like, my mom's used to like a big guy just slumping around the house. And then Amy's like, oh, did you tell your mom? And he's like, no. And she's like, did you tell Ted? I just feel like maybe we should tell a grown up, and Ted might be the right person because he's really nice. And I'm like, why would we keep putting Ted in this? But there's obviously the connection, so.
Yeah, truly. But Marshall clearly doesn't like him. It's your typical, child of divorced parents trope, protective of his mom.
Is
or
a try
something
hard.
Like that.
Yeah, Ted's trying really hard.
Ted is super nice. Like, Marshall walks in and he's like, hey, buddy, I've got ice cream. Do you want to watch a movie? And da-da-da. And I'm just like, oh, please.
I would have loved that shit personally, but, not everyone's me. Like, you bought me ice cream, bro?
Facts. Samesies. If my parents want to sit down and watch a movie and have ice cream, I'm always down. But he seemed a little too eager, a little too chipper.
Yeah.
So Marshall, he totally like blows Ted off. He's like, no thanks, and goes up to his room, which is cool as hell.
How his room is this child
wall to wall. with like
affording
horror movie posters.
this
I'm
movie
wondering,
magic.
like, does he get an allowance? Maybe a good allowance that he
What
like
kind
saves
of
up for weeks and weeks at a time. I don't.
Maybe he's doing the
Months and
divorced
months.
parents double dip, where like each parent doesn't know that they're giving him allowance, so he just has all this extra money. Because like later in the movie, the mom thinks Harold is one of the props, and like that is a hyper realistic, huge.
Right.
And first of all, how would you even not notice
size.
him getting it in the house
Before.
Second of all, that has to cost thousands of dollars.
And she's just like, "Oh, is this a new one? Oh, it's really realistic, really good. Okay." And I'm like, "Huh? Does he have access to your credit card and you just don't care? Like, what's going on, girl?"
Is his dad like secretly like a movie magic maker? Like he works on these props in movies?
Could be,
I have to go with that.
A thing about his dad.
All we know is he's really busy and he does not come around a lot anymore.
Facts. His dad's a deadbeat. Well, I mean, not deadbeat, but you know,
pretty much.
But yeah, decked out, walls completely covered in movie posters, life-size props. Like it's wild, and I mean, hella cool. Like personally, I could not sleep in that room, but very cool for someone who loves, you know, horror things. So
it looks like it smells weird, but I don't know if that's the horror stuff or the fact that he's like a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah, it could be a mixture of both. It does look like it does smell weird in there. I could see that. They're at school the next day, Marshall and Gilbert, and their friend Amy comes up and lets them know that Mr. Kubat is dead. Homie died from a heart attack while making pancakes, apparently, covered in pancake batter.
The water meter person found him.
Oh, yeah.
Which I find to be a weird fact, knowing what we learn later.
I don't even know what that's in reference to. I guess
well, I mean, spoiler alert. Obviously, this movie is... You've seen the movie if you're listening to this podcast. If you haven't, we're about to spoil something later in the movie. Okay, so we find out eventually that Mr. Kubat is alive.
Right.
So did my man lay down with pancake batter on himself for hours, days, waiting for someone to come check on him? Did he know the water meter person was coming?
I just assumed that the water meter person was probably one of his goons posing as like, hey, this guy's dead. And then somebody came and took him away. I don't know how he faked his death in terms of like...
Beautiful genius. That's exactly what it is.
Because somebody must have come and removed his body.
It must be everyone. Like
the
EMTs, the water meter person, they probably were all his goons. You're right.
All his goons?
I'm glad I mentioned this because I really was like, was my man just lying there with pancake all over him? For days.
For days on the kitchen floor. Oh, wow. That would have been a major flaw in the plan because no, we can't be doing that. Oh,
I'm relieved.
Hell yeah. Mr. Kubat is dead. Like Amy's talking about how he's dead. And strangely, she mentions that another student says that they saw a coffin in his basement. So naturally, as 12-year-old children do, they want to break into his basement to see if they can find the coffin.
Crystal, what would you do if you found some 12-year-old kids breaking into your basement? Like, what would you do?
Oh my! I'd be like, where are your parents? Get up out of my house! What the hell is this? What's wrong with y'all? Go to bed. Isn't it like past your bedtime? Do you have homework to do? Like, get out of here.
Oh my God.
I was on Gilbert's. Gilbert was immediately, he was against this plan. He was like, absolutely not. I don't want any part of this. And I'm like, absolutely, Gilbert. Me neither.
Oh my God.
Me neither.
Gilbert. Well, unfortunately, his mom, Esmeralda, is not helping him get out of this one.
She really is not. His mom is such a weirdo. Such a quirky person.
She really
apparently has a very unhealthy relationship with her dolls as well. She'll like take them to the movie theaters and buy them popcorn.
You know, whatever.
I don't know what's going on with
Gilbert's
mom.
I need more Esmeralda in this movie, though. Like, this movie, we need a more Esmeralda. Just gonna say that. Give me the Esmeralda cut.
Yeah, I wanted like a scene with her in the house doing strange things.
Flying with dolls
I needed to
shit.
see that.
I know. Role playing. Gilbert's like, she's role playing right now.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
As someone who has a quirky mother, I would randomly wake up, like when I was in high school, and my mom would be reading a book, and she would just start talking to me as if she were a character in the book and I were a character in the book as well.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's hella fun.
It kind of is like if you've seen Hey Arnold. You know Arnold's grandma used to do that where she'd always be like, she was like Hey Arnold's grandma. Yeah.
I loved his grandma. She would just like randomly be a cowgirl and be like, what you eating today, partner?
That's exactly right. My mom would read like Outlander, be like, Sassenach, what do you want for breakfast this morning? And like do a weird Scottish accent. It's like literally what is happening.
That's so entertaining. I love that.
Yeah, I kind of get it now that I'm older. I'm like, I would definitely do that with my kids. Like, I'd be weird as hell.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to be. Like, I already went through the pain and suffering of pushing you out of my body somehow, so you're gonna get this entertainment.
I gotta make it fun for me, you know?
Right.
And that's what Esmeralda's doing.
She absolutely is. And we're here for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously Gilbert's like, absolutely not, ain't no way. But he does end up going through with it. He kind of like falls halfway into this basement window that they're pushing. And he sees an open coffin / sarcophagus and a dead man's hand sticking out. And so they go running into the street, but they have to go back for his glasses that fell off.
The way that would end me if I were Gilbert, I'm just saying, like, I would not be okay.
No. I think I would have fainted, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I might have passed out.
Maybe.
I'm not sure, but because as they're running through the street and they realize they need to go back, and you know, Gilbert tells them what he saw, Marshall's just like, oh, that means Mr. Kubat killed somebody. He just says it so like entertained, not phased in the slightest.
I think I missed
and then
that.
wants to go back to get the glasses. I'm like, those glasses are with Jesus now. Okay.
I'm saying like
I'm not stepping back in that house.
I don't have glasses, but I can promise you there's no way I would go back in the house with those glasses. I would tell my mom a bully stole them. I'd make up something like, right. I got mugged. Whatever.
Anything. Yeah.
I'm not going back in that house.
Anything. Not setting foot back in the house. But of course they do. And the coffin is empty. And then as they're wandering around, a mummy breaks through one of the doors and starts chasing them. I mean, we find out that, you know, the mummy just kind of wanted to talk, but he was chasing them. It was quite scary. And then he also seemed to be looking for the bathroom because when they get to sort of the end of the chase, he sees a toilet and then he goes into the bathroom and he pees for quite some time.
Like, why does he know what a toilet is?
What? Yeah, that was my first thought because I didn't remember the peeing and I'm like, oh, maybe he's looking at the toilet and thinks there's something inside or he's gonna look.
That would make more sense and it could have been funnier. But he like I know what that is and I've been holding it for 2,000 years. So,
and I'm like, apparently mummies still have to pee.
I guess so when they wake up. But yeah, I found that very odd. But we do find out later that he understands English perfectly. So
yeah,
there's definitely some
he totally
plot
understands
holes.
what they're saying.
Yeah.
And somehow Marshall also understands his grunts.
Yes. And so does...
I don't know.
So does the drive-thru lady. It's like, oh, okay. So you like a large Coke with fries and a burger? I'm sorry, a double burger? Gotcha.
I made a note of it. And she was so enthusiastic. She's like, okay, got it. So 2 double cheeseburgers, small fry, and a jumbo orange soda.
Yes.
$3.74. I'm like, girl, what did you, how? What are you talking about?
Like, you got people showing up to your drive-thru being like, you gotta translate. Unbelievable.
And he somehow ended up with the drink. Like, I really don't know.
Yeah, and then he took the drink and she was like, that's the part that really blew her mind.
And I'm like, all right, we're not going to talk about all the weird sounds that came from the speaker, but cool. But yeah, the mummy returns Gilbert's glasses and, you know, they have like a little moment where they kind of talk for a while. So it's clear that the mummy's chill and they decide to leave him there. And they're going to come back the next day and see what's going on. So the mummy, oh wait, hold on. I'm lost in my, Oh, I have a note here that Amy doesn't respect guys who watched Olsen Twins movies multiple times.
I noted that too, and I'm like, what the fuck? I love also that Marshall and Gilbert are also confused by that. Like, they don't see anything wrong with watching the Olsen Twin movies, and I appreciate that.
I love this. These young men are just so comfortable in their masculinity. They're
little woke kings.
Yeah. I'm like,
but
Amy, why
Amy, like, girl.
Please.
And so mean to Todd, not even like nicely dismissive, just like, no, like you're not going to talk to me. And I'm like, girl, it's your right. You shouldn't have to talk to me and you don't want to. But my God, Todd does not deserve this vitriol.
And she said, don't make me hurt you. And Todd's like, oh, okay. And he like backs away slowly. And I'm like, damn, what did he do to you?
Yeah. He likes Olsen Twins too much.
So ridiculous. But anyway, after
she is canonically the tallest child, so I guess she's the most intimidating.
Oh, Amy. She is. Yeah, she's a tall girl. I mean, I guess she's really swinging that authority around, but wild judgment call. But after school that day, they go to their friend Bruce's store. He's got like the store of oddities and, you know, decorations and things. And they ask him about mummies. And he pulls out one of these books that I have it's one of those ancient looking leather bound books you always see in movies like this or Halloween Town or something. And
it's
always
giving
want a book like that.
Yeah. You know, from Hocus Pocus.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, when the book comes. Yes, that's right. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Yeah. I'm like, this is just Bethany being Bethany. Cool.
Wow.
So Bruce does some little research and they find out that he needs to return to his tomb, his sarcophagus, and his resting place by midnight on Halloween, or he's going to turn into a pile of dust and his soul's going to be lost. So they're like, oh damn, let's go get him. And they go back to the house and it's empty. Apparently.
Wait, before they get to the house, or once they get to the house, when do they run into Leonard? Because I don't want to skip Leonard because
Leonard.
I love me some Leonard.
Yeah, when he was holding a towel, a rag. What?
He's like, you want to see me pick my scab? You're like, get out of here, Leonard. And you're like walking around with a blanket. It's not a blanket. It's a rag I carry around to to clean up spills.
Just in case. Leonard is so odd. What an odd.
I fucking love Leonard.
Child. And I feel like he's like,
why did they put that character in this movie?
At all.
Like, why?
I have no clue. No clue at all. And he's obviously younger than them.
Thankful.
Is he like maybe 8 years old or something?
Yes.
Like 10.
He's like
9?
4? I don't know how old children are.
4-year-olds are toddlers.
I feel like this movie came out, we were 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I feel like he's younger than that.
Damn.
Like at the oldest, I would give him 6.
Oh my god. Okay, I could see 6. But he's
a little baby.
Strange 6-year-old. Yeah, he's so small. He is so
Best
small.
Opening line ever. You want to see me pick my scab?
And it's like always a close up on his face too, as he's like opening his mouth so wide to talk.
Just like yelling everything. I love Leonard. Like,
yeah.
I hope he's thriving. Whoever played him.
I hope so too. He deserves it. But they run into Leonard on their way back to Mr. Kubat's house, where they see that the place has been emptied out. And it turns out Amy's mom is a realtor and she's showing the house. And she said that everything was cleared out and was seized to help pay for some back taxes that Mr. Kubat apparently owed. So it sounds like he's into some shady shit. And meanwhile, while this is happening, our mummy friend is wandering around town. Like, he's literally just out and about. This is where he goes to the drive-thru. He grunts into the speaker, the microphone, to order.
Yes.
And the employee just somehow translates what he's saying into a full-fledged order. Also, it was 2 double cheeseburgers, a small fry, and a jumbo orange soda, and it was for $3.74. $3.74. And I'm like, was fast food actually that cheap in 97?
Yes. And the reason we don't know, because we weren't paying for shit in 97. We were little babies.
Facts. I could not imagine getting that much food for $3.74.
Well, you can't imagine it because it is just not a reality you've ever lived it, or like consciously lived
literally. I'm like, damn. I'm like, okay. Hella cheap, but go off. But yeah, they eventually find the mummy after he's gotten into some shenanigans. He winds up wandering into a hospital, and
he like sees a woman bandaged, and he's like, oh, my people.
And then he's like, oh, let me go see what's going on there. And the employees at the hospital, the nurses, they think that he's a burn victim. They throw him on a gurney and they try to find his pulse. Nothing. So they call a code blue, shock our boy until they start a fire on his chest.
Set him on fire.
Literally set him on fire. And he gets up and he runs out of there. And they're chasing after him.
And then they chase him. That hospital is Benoit noise.
Absolutely.
Like, all that happens And it starts with Harold like dinging the bell to get attention.
Yeah.
And the nurse, I know they did it for like a comedic bit. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that she refuses to look in his direction, even to say like, oh, 1 minute, I'll be with you.
No.
Like,
she just threw the clipboard at him.
This
like,
hospital's...
fill out the forms, whatever.
Yeah. This hospital... And like, he keeps dinging it. If that was happening, I'd be like, something is obviously wrong.
Right. Like, what the hell's going on back there? And then when he gets out of the hospital, they chase him for so long.
Yes.
Like,
intensely. They are like...
down blocks. Yeah.
Track stars. Yes.
Literally, runners and track stars. And it's just like, bro, let him go. Can't he just voluntarily leave? He's on a patient there. I guess they don't know that, but it's just like, damn.
It is absurd that any doctor or nurse would chase a potential patient. That doesn't...
We're not running after nobody out the hospital. That's crazy. We don't do that. But they sure do. But the kids accost him, and the mummy recounts all of the day's events to Marshall, and he apparently understands every word that he says somehow. I don't know.
He really does. I want to say about Marshall in this moment, and in general in the film, he gives me like kind of middle-aged man energy. Like, I know he is a 12-year-old boy, but he kind of like makes the facial expressions of like your friend's quirky dad. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe
dad
it.
Energy, like old soul.
Yes,
dad
in a
energy.
good way. Yeah, like I think it's good,
wholesome. Yeah.
But it's wholesome. And I think I had a crush on him when I was a kid, and I think that's probably why, because I like that he seemed like an old man to me. And you know, grumpy old men always been my type.
Always.
But yeah, anyway, I just thought that was interesting that I'm like, why does he feel like a dad and he's a baby?
He definitely did. I could see that about him.
Yeah.
No wonder. So where were we? Oh, so yeah, he recounts his story, and they decide that they're going to keep him at Marshall's house for now. And they basically sneak him upstairs. Marshall's mom somehow doesn't, or well, I guess she just assumes that his friends are all the footsteps, but the mummy looks very heavy and tall, and I feel like I would be like, who the hell was that particular person that just went up the stairs sounding like that, you know? And I mean, he does make noise upstairs where his mom comes upstairs and she's like, what is all that noise? It sounds like you guys are trying to come through the floor. And Marshall makes up a lie that Amy is teaching them clogging.
Yes, and then she does a terrible attempt at clogging, and the mom's like, oh, it's really
She's
good. Great job, baby.
Oh my God. And this is when she comes face to face with the mummy, and does not realize that he's a real mummy. She's just like, oh, is this a new one? Does not know what her son is purchasing. Has no clue where he's getting these life-size props for movies that are hyper-realistic. Yeah, no concerns. So maybe Marshall, maybe he's got a secret business or something. Or not secret, but maybe he has his own business. And maybe that's why he seems like a dad.
Maybe he's like that kid that told Billy, like, oh, you don't sell your own like sneakers online? Like, you're a loser, I'm a winner. Remember Billy told us about that kid who came in a Lego, who bought the Lego Nike shoe set, and he like was like an online mogul for like reselling sneakers? And he was like 10.
No.
Okay, well anyway, that did happen. But maybe he's like that.
He could be. Maybe he like buys and sells movie props or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so. But then they name him Harold.
Yeah.
They name the mummy Harold.
Oh my God.
And Amy responds saying, yeah, like, because he's like, oh, he reminds me of my uncle Harold. And Amy's like, your aunt must be ready to open a vein.
I'm like, what? What?
Gagged.
What? How could you say that? And why?
This girl comes out her mouth with the bucket shit. Like, absolutely I don't wear pajamas. I sleep in the nude. What?
I'm sorry. You're 12 years old. Why are you sleeping in the nude? What's going on with you, girl?
And why are you telling us about it?
Like, yeah, why do we need to know what's happening with you?
I don't know what's going on. We are the only one. We don't know about her home life. She's the only one. We know about Esmeralda. We know about stepdad Ted, but we don't know what's going on with Amy. Except her mom's a
realtor. Yeah. Which, I mean, we don't know anything beyond that. But, yeah, she has some quips. Like, she says some wild shit. So after she says that wild ass line for absolutely no reason whatsoever, We cut to a scene where we see Mr. Kubat alive and well. And he's at some storage facility, I guess, with all his stuff. And he's got all these goons. And they're all looking for the mummy. They have the empty coffin, the empty sarcophagus. And, you know, obviously, he's shady as fuck. So,
yeah. He is hella shady. I thought it would be more interesting, though, like, just honestly, if the movie was, we see these goons. Yeah, and they're like, they have all the stuff. And like, we need to find the mummy. But we don't see Mr. Kubat yet. And then later in the movie where the kids arrive on site and it's like, Mr. Coop, and we could have had the same surprise they had in that moment. I thought that was like poorly structured.
It was too early for us to see him again. Way too early.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
We should write a movie.
We should. We'd do a better job, obviously. We should write a decom, honestly. I think we'd slay the house down boots Gaga Mama.
100%. Okay, we will. We will do that. So yeah, we see Mr. Kubat. He's obviously alive. While all this is going down, Marshall's fast asleep, and Harold gets into like some mild shenanigans with the family dog or the neighbor's dog. I actually can't remember if it's
he Marshall's straight up dog. Probably brain scrambled that dog.
Yeah, I think he did. There was a little altercation, but then he goes off running down the street and he stumbles upon an Egyptian museum exhibit. I feel like, you know, the queen was calling to him because her sarcophagus is there. She's laying in the tomb, or not the tomb. She's laying in the coffin at the exhibit, and they find him there. The kids, all three of them, got up out of their beds in the middle of the night to go find him. And I'm like, I could never do this. First of all, my parents wake up at the slightest sound of anything, and I know that, I don't know, I just wouldn't risk it. I know that if they wake up in the middle of the night and come to check on me and I'm not in my bed, and then I come home later and I'm just like, I snuck out to get it. No.
Certainly not at 12. Over. Maybe at 16 I would have done that. Not at 12.
16 for sure. High school, yeah. High school I did a bunch of shit I wasn't supposed to do, but not at 12. Absolutely not. So, yeah. Harold, I forgot the mummy's name is Harold, yes. He starts reading, you know, some things off. Actually, Gilbert reads off a description of what's going on, and we learn that Harold is a high priest to the queen, and he should be resting peacefully next to her. So, they basically know that they need to get his sarcophagus back and bring it back right here.
Well, we're going on about the celibacy thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right, he was supposed to be celibate as the high priest.
Yeah.
But they're actually in love. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's in love with her.
Forbidden love.
And he also, he opens up the queen's sarcophagus and she's wearing like this amulet. And then he reveals that he's got one too under his little wraps, you know, under wraps. So yeah, now the kids know what they need to do, like down to a T. And they go back to, they bring Harold back to Marshall's place. And this is where we see Leonard again for the second time. Sadly, the last time, I think.
I know. We need more Leonard. More Leonard, more Esmeralda.
Truly, we need more of them. He just opens up the backyard gate and like starts invading their little hangout. And he says that he saw them take everything out of Mr. Kubat's house in a yellow truck. And then Amy is like, oh yeah, there's that ice cream company that has yellow trucks. We should go see if it could be one of their trucks, which is like down by some industrial area where there's, you know, like some warehouse or something. I don't know how they put that shit together, or how I would have assumed the yellow truck was like a moving truck or something, like not an ice cream truck or not an ice cream company, but whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's like an ice cream cargo truck. You know, like how you have the giant trucks that just have the company logo on the side?
Yeah. I mean, an ice cream truck theoretically would have like space in the back for someone to move around, but you could like use it for storage if you took the ice cream out and there are no people back there.
Yeah, but he was saying like they moved his stuff out of the house in a yellow truck. And I'm like, I know it's not an ice cream truck that they're using to move Mr. Kubat's belongings, right?
But they say it's an ice cream truck, right?
She said ice cream company.
Are you saying it's a cargo van that could just belong to the company?
Right. Or like a big truck that just belongs to the ice cream company. They use it for whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess anything's possible. I don't remember seeing it.
We never see the yellow truck.
So it's left ambiguous.
There is no yellow truck. Yeah. We have no idea. But anyway, they figure it out. And then they find the warehouse. And Marshall sees Mr. Kubat inside, alive and well. And he is like, Mr. Kubat is in there. And he's going to sell Harold to somebody tonight. Like, we need to... Oh, it's now Halloween. So it's the next day. So it's Halloween. And by midnight tonight, Harold needs to be back in his sarcophagus, sleeping, resting peacefully next to his love, or he will turn to dust. So they decide that they need to go find Bruce, their friend who gave them some mummy information earlier. And they dress up for a costume party to go, I guess, infiltrate the party, find Bruce. Yeah, and Bruce, Gilbert dresses up.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead. I was saying Bruce designed the party. That's why they know that he's going to be there. Because he did the props and stuff.
Right. Yeah. And he does have the haunted house inside. Yeah. Where he was apparently making bank. He's like, I'm making money. Y'all need to go.
But yes, Gilbert.
Yeah, Gilbert dresses up in sunglasses and a neon pink boa as Dennis Rodman, which I thought was just so incredible. I was like, I'm here for this. I love
An example of how to dress up as a Black person or character and not have to do blackface.
No blackface.
Authenticity, quote unquote, but yes.
No blackface needed, babe.
He did a great job.
Oh, Gilbert, what a king. Bruce, once they find him in the party, he also mentions that there's a Martha Stewart at the party, and I thought that was also a hilarious costume. Like, Martha Stewart. Like, that's wild. So they go in and they're not able to convince Bruce that they're telling the truth about having a mummy friend and all this stuff, but there's some shenanigans where the goons show up and they're basically unwrapping every mummy that's at the party. And Bruce does eventually see the real mummy as he's leaving the party. And he's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And Bruce drives a hearse. So that's why they were looking for him in the first place, because he has a vehicle that can hold the sarcophagus. So they jump in the hearse and they have to leave Harold behind, sadly, because Bruce takes off. He's like, I'm not waiting for that mummy. We gone. He's out.
Well, Harold sacrifices himself, right? He's like, I'll keep
He does. Yeah.
Okay, but honestly, at this party too, there's like a mummy mix-up. Where like this lady... I'm very confused by the scene, actually. So I would like your help trying to understand it. So
with the two women. Yeah.
Yes. He comes over thinking that this woman who's dressed as, I guess, an ancient Egyptian queen, he comes over and starts like worshiping her. In a way, like he sincerely thinks that she's royalty. And she's like playing along, but then she's like, where have you been? But then later, it seems like she doesn't have any inkling who he is. So like, who did she think he was? But then so also Gilbert sees a mummy, someone dressed up as a mummy. Instead of being this is a costume party, I should think about this, yells at him and elbows him in the gut. It's his principal.
Turns out.
So now we know there's two mummies. Then we go back to Harold and this Egyptian queen who are like getting on the dance floor. And this other woman comes up, is like, oh my God, what are you doing? He's my husband. And of course her husband's the principal. But I'm like, girly, there is a foot difference between these two men. Are you tripping? Like,
truly, how could you mix these guys up? I don't understand.
Someone was a foot taller than Silas and they were dressed the same. I would know it wasn't Silas.
Yeah, still know. And bizarre. I don't really. She was the lady who was dressed up as Cleopatra was just like all over him. Like she was trying to get it in,
But then she was like, "Who are you?" And it's like, "Bitch, you acted like you knew who he was." Like, you asked where he's been.
As soon as he showed up, she was like, "Where have you been?" I turned around and you were gone. But maybe. Oh well, no, because
unless the principal's being shady and was flirting with her, that's the only explanation.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, unless she was dancing with the principal earlier in the night and then he dipped out and she's like, where have you been?
Yes.
But why would he do that?
The weird part is that they blame Harold for all this. And like, well, who are you then? It's like, Harold has not misled any of you. He has not proclaimed to be someone he is not. He is dressed up in a costume, you dumbasses. And they start unraveling his face. And they're, of course, freaked out. But I'm like, that is a major boundary overstep. Like, y'all are wilding for this.
It's not like he did anything. All he did was grunt when he was dancing with that Cleopatra, and she somehow interpreted that. She was in her, the Lulu sphere and was like, "Oh no, don't worry, it's fine." And I'm like, "Girl, he's not saying anything. He's not saying a word."
I know, but she's also like willing to go to bat when the woman's like, "He's my husband." I'd be like, "Oh, okay, bye."
Right?
She's like, "Oh,
right,
is he?"
cool.
She's like willing to go to bat over this man. That she doesn't know what he looks like or who he is.
So hard.
She's like one of those women who just like she just likes tall men.
Facts. Mm-hmm. It's the height thing.
It's the height
queen.
Yes, exactly.
But after all of the mix-up with Harold's many women, the goons do see him. He holds the door as Bruce and the kids are driving away. And the goons capture him. So they take him back to the warehouse. And the kids are trying to come up with a plan. And it turns out that Bruce's hearse is filled with a bunch of Halloween decorations and props and like movie props and not prosthetic legs, but like mannequin legs or whatever. And they come up with a plan where Amy runs out at the warehouse to one of the goons for help, as if she needs help, and she's got this bloody eye coming out of her face. And that distracts him long enough for Bruce and Marshall to come out, beating him with some of the prosthetic legs. So that's their plan. Bruce body slams him and knocks him out. Like he literally, the goon passed out from the body slam. Oh, and while this was going on, Gilbert waited in the car because he was too scared. And Marshall was such a sweetie. He was like, "It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay."
Yeah, he's accepting his friends for who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is nice because honestly, they're really shitty to Gilbert up until this moment in the movie. Like his friends are really shitty to him.
Make fun of him a lot.
His mom's clearly having a mental break with reality, and he mentions that his dad does not talk or communicate. I'm like, my boy Gilbert needs something.
He needs some support. Yeah, he needs a support system.
Yes.
So yeah, Marshall in that moment is kind of soft with him, and he's like, "It's fine, it's okay." So Gilbert's waiting in the car all this time while they're knocking out this goon and Marshall's trying to find Harold wherever he's tied up. And Mr. Kubat confirms, Mr. Kubat sort of, finds them in the middle of their shenanigans. There's so much going on in this scene, actually. Bruce also was trying to set off the fire alarm, and it doesn't work. The match starts to burn his hand before he can set off the sprinklers. I mean, not the fire alarm, or both, whatever. He swings into this pile of stuff, causes a commotion, and the goons and Mr. Kubat come and find him.
Like, maybe they didn't hear anything.
They're immediately there. They're running up the stairs. They're like, "What the hell was that?" And while that's happening, Marshall manages to use a crowbar and free Harold from these chains that he's strung up by. But Mr. Kubat accosts them all, and he's got them all cornered. And we learn that he faked his death to avoid being arrested for tax evasion, which we kind of got the sense when Amy's mom told us back at the house that his stuff was seized for back taxes. So
okay, but I have a question. If he left enough stuff to be seized for his back taxes, why would he have not just used that stuff to pay his back taxes in the first place and not fake his own death?
I don't know. Because that was part of his explanation too. He was like, "I've been collecting all these treasures and da-da-da-da-da, and my plan was to retire and then slowly sell the trinkets and live off that forever." And I'm like, bro, you could have sold the shit as soon as the IRS was on you.
Yeah, just do that. Also, just like, I'm sorry, a flashback moment where they mentioned that he died, when they think he died. And Amy's like, he had a heart attack, he's old, his organs fail. And I'm like, Mr. Kubat's like maybe 60 at the oldest?
I was going to push it to 70.
He's white, Crystal. Yeah, I think he's 60.
65.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe 65. But even pushing up to 70, he's not like organ failure, drop dead old. And just like, people are old and die, get over it.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Literally acting like he was, bent over, hobbling around. Like, no, he looked like a fairly healthy 60-something
He looked like he could have taken those kids. And I'm like, I don't know, like 65 and under in my opinion.
He looked threatening, for sure.
Yes.
I would have been scared of him.
Yes, and not in a creepy old man way necessarily, but in like a, oh, he could fuck me up, like, gangster way.
Hurt me. Yeah. Yeah. Like, he's very much still in charge. He's got it all up there with the wits. So
put some respect on his name, Mr. Kubat. Okay.
Right. Truly. He don't play.
Mm-mm.
And so yeah, he tells him his whole life story, or well, not his life story, but the whole scheme about faking his death.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's honestly no way out at the moment, but our boy Gilbert, who is still in the hearse, he drives that hearse through the warehouse gates, baby. Mm-hmm. And all these things come crashing down shortly after he like drives through. And it crashes on all of the goons. Somehow Mr. Kubat's fine. He gets up from underneath what look like very heavy pipes that fell on him, but he's okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
And he materializes a gun. I mean, I say materializes, but it might have been in his pocket this whole time. But we haven't seen a gun the entire movie, but it just, it appears. And he is pointing it at Marshall, threatening him, but then Harold steps in. And he throws Mr. Kubat easily like 40 feet. Like, Mr. Kubat is gone. He's done. Play. Like, he's out cold. Mm-hmm. And Harold and Amy have this, or not Harold, Marshall and Amy have this moment where Amy approaches him and she's just like, oh, if anything were to happen to you, I'm glad you're okay.
They have a couple moments like that throughout the movie. And I'm like, did
they have a moment like that before?
A couple where
before that?
Yeah, where he's like going on about how he's like, Harold's just a mummy. I don't care about him. And then she's like, you obviously do. And he's like, you're right. I do love him. He's my friend. Oh. And then he's like, I'm struggling with my mom and Ted. And she basically is like, if you ever need to talk, I'm here. And I think there was like another moment, but it's kind of weird because they also have a couple of moments where she's like weirdly sexualized for a child, like the nudity thing. And she mentions not wearing wearing a bra or something. And both times Gilbert has a big reaction to that. Yeah. So it's just kind of like, I don't know
what's going on.
Yeah,
here.
Exactly.
But this little moment kind of makes it seem like Amy might have some fluttering feelings for Marshall or something.
She clearly does.
Or she could just...
Yeah. That's why she's so cold to Todd, because she wants Marshall.
Oh, facts.
She likes those dad vibes.
I was... true. Dad vibes got you too, so... But I was writing on the, the Olsen twins double feature. I thought that was really it.
Might be a part of it.
Yeah, I guess she's got feelings for our little dad.
Yeah.
Our little man. Where were we?
Well, she was saying how she has feelings for him, or she was worried he was gonna die, and that scared her.
Yeah, she was so worried when that gun came out.
Yeah,
but that moment, was very short, and then Marshall was immediately like, "Okay, let's go," and they kind of head back to the museum, and at the museum, they open up the sarcophagus with the queen, and Harold takes out his amulet, and he uses it to do something and wakes the queen up, I guess, to just say a quick goodbye, because it's really just like a little hug. They have like this tender little moment.
We know she's a woman.
Haven't seen each other in 3,000 years.
True. She's got that body and blue eyeshadow. You gotta have that blue eyeshadow.
Absolutely. She is face beat.
Face is beat.
3,000-year-old beat.
That ass face.
Still looking okay.
Beat.
And she does have that body yaddy yaddy.
She does. Yeah.
That mummy body yaddy yaddy. So yeah, they share a little tender moment, and then Harold hands his amulet off to Marshall as a parting gift, and he lays in his sarcophagus, and it's before midnight. He makes it so that he can rest peacefully. I felt like this was like a little bit anticlimactic, just because the same way that there was like some kind of sparkly stuff going on with the amulets to wake the queen up, I wanted there to be something when he laid back in the sarcophagus as well, and they both kind of, I don't know, like their mummy souls just like, hold hands and twirl away or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I wish that happened, but I do understand that feeling anticlimactic because it is like they just lay down and go back to being dead. It's like, and that's what I want for them.
I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. But also if they like had like little like
Right.
misty, shimmery ghost versions of them swirl up and they held hands, I'd be like, nah.
I just thought that would have been so cute.
Nah.
Just cheesy enough for a decom. It shows us exactly what's going on.
No, you maintain your integrity under wraps.
They just went back to bed. I mean, I guess to some degree.
Oh my god. But yeah, that's the movie.
But we don't know what happens to Harold after that, because like I'm assuming the museum employees find him and they're just like, oh my god, let's add this to the exhibit.
Yeah.
And he stays there forever, but we just don't know.
We'll find out in
But
Under Wraps
hopefully that's
2,
what
baby.
happens.
We'll find out.
You think Under Wraps 2 is going to pick up from there?
I do.
Or is it just going to be a whole...
No, I think it's going to pick up. Like, I think the first Under Wraps...
Oh, wait, Under Wraps 2.
Yes, like, the
I
remake will be just a remake of this, but 2 will be...
Of this. True.
Yeah.
Fact.
I also, now
do
my
think that
prediction
as
is
well.
with the Under Wraps 2, if the reboot ends the way this one does with the amulet being given to Marshall, he's going to, like, use the amulet to bring him back.
Yeah.
That's my prediction, but...
To do something.
I don't know. We'll see.
Absolutely. I could definitely see that.
But I have a question for you. I've had a lot of questions in this movie.
Mhm.
Okay. Why does Mr. Kubat want Harold to turn to dust?
I don't know. Because he apparently wants to sell
I
him
feel
for
like-
money. So I'm like...
It'd be advantageous.
You need him.
Yes.
Yeah. You need him intact.
They should all be on the same team with this.
I had that thought as well. And I'm like, there's no reason why you should be preventing this. Because you're talking about him fetching a really great price, but you're going to have a pile of dust. So
it made no sense.
I had that exact same thought. Like, that made no sense to me either.
Yeah.
Oh, but I also wanted to mention that right after, I think the next day or sometime later, Marshall is cleaning up his room. He's packing up all his Halloween decor, all his scary movie decor. I guess this signifies him growing up a little bit, but I'm like, he could have kept all that stuff and still be a grown-up. Like, it was cool. But anyway, his mom comes up to his room and he lets her know that, recently he's learned that if two people really want to be together and they love each other, they should be together. So he tells his mom that she should marry Ted.
I love that.
You should lighten up and stop trying to be so nice all the time.
I appreciate that.
Really sweet moment.
Yeah.
Really sweet.
I think Marshall, even when he's like in his feelings about it, he's never like, don't date mom. He just is like, I don't really want to be around Ted, which I think is fair.
Right.
I think he handled it very maturely. And like, as a child of a single parent, I always love when like kids want their parents to ultimately be happy, because that's how I've always felt. And I also do love the mom in this movie, probably one of the better Disney Channel moms or parents. I mean, the bar is subterranean.
So low.
But she consistently is asking Marshall how he feels about Ted. Like, how is he doing?
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. Like, realistically, you need to make sure that your kid is comfortable with your relationship in order to move forward with it. So I appreciate that.
And although, like, Marshall, he did clam up, he wasn't really being forthcoming with his real feelings, she was always checking in. She never gave up on it. So
yeah,
I did like
appreciate
that too.
That. Yeah, she's a good mom.
Yeah, she is a good mom. Very oblivious to her son's spending, but other than that,
yeah, they must be rich. I don't know.
I'm saying, I don't know, but the kids are headed to a movie after this, like that same day, and Marshall finds out that Amy's also coming to the movie, and he starts fussing about. Yeah, he's like fussing about his clothes and looking nice and getting ready. He puts gel in his hair.
Not a good.
And
movie.
then he opens the door. I'm like, who are you? Are you like from The Godfather?
Fun fact.
Stop
when
this.
Silas was around that age, around this era, he also used to wear his hair like that. Oh my God. That's my white husband, y'all. Like, he used to slick back his hair with gel.
What? That's
Yeah.
That's shameful.
I know. I make fun of him
Glad
all
he
the time.
corrected
Like,
that.
whenever I have a chance, I make fun of him for it.
He looked like an Italian mob boss.
He looked like Marshall.
Wow. Facts. That's hilarious.
But
I would love to
Amy-
see Silas with like slick back hair now.
Oh my
We should
God.
do it.
I'll try to make him dress
Just
up
for
as-
like a Halloween costume.
Yeah, I was gonna
Halloween
say
costume.
that, but I'll look to see if I can find a photo in his album of when he was younger and did it and send it to
Absolutely.
you.
I
But-
must see it.
Gilbert is so weirded out by Marshall's reaction because he's like, "Oh my God, Amy's coming! I gotta clean my room. Oh my God, I gotta like do my hair," and he's just like scrambling around. But then Amy's down there.
Gilbert's like, "What the hell, bro?"
Yeah, and she's wearing like the frumpiest dress. Like, who put that 12-year-old in that dress?
I have no clue. Her hair looks really pretty. She's
She's
super
gorgeous
cute
hair
in that way. Yeah. But the dress, it was wild. And Marshall says,
he calls her out.
Nice dress. And we think for a second it's going to be like this little romantic moment that might turn into like a awkward friend date thing. But then he immediately says, I think my grandmother was buried in one just like that.
That was a sick burn because it was accurate.
He really got her. He really did.
That is a zing,
I forget
zing, wing a ding ding.
Remember what she says back to
Oh,
him,
she's like, oh, new
hairstyle.
They go for the goods on it. I'm like, yes and yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but then Gilbert's really
normal.
Gilbert's like, oh, thank God, because he felt like the sexual tension dissolve immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he was like, I thought something weird was going on there for a second. Ooh.
Exactly, but yeah, that's under wraps. 1997.
That's that.
Oh, we gotta rank it. We gotta rank it.
We sure do. Right now, we've got the number 1 spot is Wish Upon a Star.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is the Paper Brigade. And number 3 is Susie Q.
Yep.
Personally, for me, I feel like Under Wraps. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's number 2.
Same.
I still love Wish Upon a Star more.
Yes.
So I would say it's number 2. Yeah.
I'm with you 100%.
So? Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, like, it's
right,
interesting because I think Wish Upon a Star is preferable to me personally. But in the classic DCOM zeitgeist, I think that Under Wraps is more like a perfect DCOM formulaic film, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
like the composition of the movie.
Yes. But Wish Upon a Star is so fucking weird. Like, my girl shows up as a full leather mama to high school.
Yeah. And does like a striptease dance on the cafeteria tables. That's
it's iconic.
Wild. Just iconic, absolutely. And then these no parenting parents who think they're geniuses.
Oh
like,
my God.
Like it's all bonkers.
The kids are literally parenting themselves and the parents are going to write a book about it.
Truly. The 1 sentence book. Stop parenting.
Just stop.
Just one word.
Oh my God.
All right, perfect. So we've got Under Wraps 1997 in our number 2 spot. I'm excited to see what this remake has in store for us. I'm a little cautiously optimistic, but
I mean,
I'm also kind of hyped. Okay.
I mean, I'm curious. I'm definitely curious. We're kind of jumping in hard to like newer DCOMs because I think the newest.
This was
like
the Under Wraps 2.
It was like 2021, I think, the first one, or 2022. Yeah, like
2022.
Within the past couple years. But like the most recent DCOM I've seen, and it stands alone. I haven't seen years before or years after. Is Teen Beach Movie and Teen Beach Movie 2.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah. Like I haven't.
What about Zombies? Did Zombies come after that?
It did, but I haven't seen it.
Zombies is good.
I'm really excited for it actually, but I'm trying to wait so I can do like a first experience with it. But I am extremely excited for that one. I also just love the kid who plays I think Zed or Zeke or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, the main guy.
Yeah, I think he's just like adorable. And I watched him in a TV show.
He is.
School Spirits.
He's a cute tay.
Yeah.
Oh, he was like a ghost in that movie? Like a high school ghost? Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
It's a cute TV show. I hated it for a while, but it grew on me.
Like otherworldly beings seem to be his genre.
He feels like
Zombies,
he's
ghosts.
of
What's
another time or being.
Oh, as the ghost?
Yeah, because as the ghost, he's from the 80s.
Oh, cool 80s ghost.
He's like an 80s jock with like a heart of gold type.
Oh, yeah, precious. He's like Archie Andrews.
Oh, yeah.
Except, I mean, Archie is from now on the show on Riverdale. But yeah, we are jumping quite far into the land of DCOM. So it's gonna be interesting to see, what this brand spanking new movie, especially Under Wraps 2.
Yeah,
that one's like hella. I haven't seen any of the DCOMs that are around that one either. So I don't know what these DCOMs be doing these days.
Yeah, I have like, excuse me, a full list. I don't know what the latest one to come out is. It might be Slumber Party or Sleepover.
I think it's the Pact or something.
No, I think the Sleepover one came after that. But I know you're talking about the Pact.
Oh. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, Prom Pact.
Oh, my AirPod.
And then Sleepover,
Prom
Slumber
Pact.
Party isn't on my list because when I wrote the list, it hadn't come out yet.
Oh.
But that one, I watched a trailer for it because I like, Silas, will you watch this one with me? And he's like, I actually will watch it. It's like the
Slumber Party one?
Yeah, it's like a preteen girl hangover where like they do some seance where all their memories are wiped, but they've had like this crazy night at the slumber party. It's exactly the hangover for like kids.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about that one. But yeah, so we have Under Wraps.
So funny.
2021 is when the first of the remake came out, and then Under Wraps 2, which is 2022, and then your all-time fave, Crystal. Can you guess it? Can you guess it?
My all-time fave?
Okay, I was being sarcastic. It's like your least favorite. It's going straight to the bottom.
Dog.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Honestly,
I wish I'd saved my notes from before so we didn't have to rewatch this.
What if we do this? Okay, because I want us, by the time we come out with these episodes, to have a Patreon. What if we say we're not doing You Lucky Dog until we have 500 subscribers to our Patreon?
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
I like that.
Honestly, that movie is
Let's skip right over that bitch.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It was
so painful that first
sense.
time. I can't do it again.
I know.
And that was just a year or so ago.
I know.
Yeah, don't do this to me. Yeah,
okay, so
we'll skip it.
Dear listener, if you want us to review it, which I'm sure will be funny because the vitriol we have towards this film is unparalleled. Help us to get to 500 subscribers on Patreon. We'll start inserting.
Which is so sad because, I mean, goals, obviously. Let's get to 500 for sure, but damn! Not us rewarding ourselves with this torture.
We're rewarding you, dear listener, for believing in us and supporting us. So,
facts. It's worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth it for the listeners. That's true.
Better us to do it then than to just do it now. So
yeah.
So after, okay, so this is much better. After we do the Under Wraps trilogy, I'll call it from now on. We're moving on to actually one of my favorites, Brink.
Oh my God, me too. I love Brink.
Yeah.
Oh, it still hurts me every time. Gabriella.
When she falls and like
is her name
gets
Gabriella?
the road rash.
Yeah, with the set. Yeah. Oh.
I know. There's some things from childhood that like you just don't forget, and that includes the road rash scene.
It will never leave me.
Ever.
And just the look of the bully's face, like he just looked
Val.
he looked like if someone he looked like he looked like he accosted a witch and she transformed him from like a snake into a human or something. Like his face is just like
Crystal, what a description. You look like you accosted a witch and she turned him from a snake into a man.
That's what he looks like. He looks like he used to be a snake, like an actual snake.
Yeah.
That's what his face looks like to me. It's all like scrunched in and just like, ooh, I'm Val. Oh, skate for our sponsored team.
Team X Blades. X.
X Blades.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm excited.
I don't want to get into that, but I want you to watch it through this lens when we do get to Brink. I feel like Val has a thing for Brink. Sexually.
Oh.
Because he is thirsty for him.
He is obsessed. He's obsessed
in a weird way. Not in a weird way, but I mean in a way that doesn't make sense if it's not like somewhat fueled by a crush.
Yeah. Because Brink literally does nothing to him. He's just trying to like make ends meet.
And he like,
and he's just all about
he goes
him.
from like hating him to like wanting him on the team, and I'm like, bruh, I see what you're doing.
Like, who are you trying to fool?
Not me.
Not us.
Awesome. Well, I think my food delivery just got here, so wonderful. We can underwrap it up.
Oh wow, that was so good. You're giving the listeners what they want. That was it. That's right there.
So generous, but thank you. All right.
Alrighty, well, enjoy your dinner. This was fun.
Yes, well,
that is it for Under Wraps.
Yes, and then I will do
and
the remake. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. All right, well.
All right, until next
time. Same bat time, same bat place, listener. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to The Bomb Decom. You can follow us all over the internet on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all at The Bomb Decom, and at our website at thebombdecom.com. You can also email us at thebombdecom@gmail.com. We release new episodes every Wednesday, so you better find your ass back here next week.
This show was created, produced, and hosted by us, Bethany Birdhill and Crystal Innes, and edited by me, Crystal. Our theme music credit also goes to DJ Quads. Thank you, DJ Quads, for the excellent music. You can find them on YouTube. And we will see you next time, babies. Bye.